Okay, so let's unpack this. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a piece of hardware today that, well, it signals a pretty massive shift in how we think about infrastructure.
Yeah, huge shift, really.
Right, we're talking about the Kramer WM-6D Sega, and on the surface, it looks like your standard wall-mounted speaker.
But if you look at the specs, specifically the model 600000137, it becomes clear pretty fast.
Yeah, this isn't really audio equipment in the traditional sense, is
No,
it?
not at all. It's an IT device.
Which is wild.
It is, but that's the perfect way to frame it. The mission of this deep dive for you listening is really to look at the convergence of those two worlds.
Right, because we're moving away from the era of heavy copper bundles
And centralized rack amplifiers, yeah. We are moving toward a world where a speaker is just another node on your network.
just like a printer or a security camera.
Exactly.
Which sounds incredibly convenient, but I do want to push back on that slightly.
Yeah.
Does turning a speaker into a computer actually make life easier for the installer? Or does it just add software headaches to a hardware job?
I get that, but in this case, it simplifies the physical labor immensely. And that's primarily due to the one cable revolution.
Okay.
This unit runs on PoE, which is power over Ethernet.
So literally just one cable.
Yeah.
No power brick, no...
No electrical outlet near the ceiling, exactly.
Wow.
You run a standard Ethernet cable, it handles the data, and it powers the unit via PoE, PoE plus, or even PoE plus plus.
Oh, so it auto-negotiates the power it needs.
It does. If you've ever had to crawl through a ceiling plenum to run thick gauge speaker wire.
And find a certified electrician to install a power outlet 15 feet up a wall.
Right. Then you know exactly why this matters so much.
Okay, that's completely fair. You're trading a complex electrical install for a simple cable run. But let's talk about Dante for a second.
Sure.
We see this buzzword everywhere in the source material. For the uninitiated, is this just fancy Bluetooth?
No, it's much more robust. Dante is uncompressed, multi-channel digital media networking.
Okay.
It allows you to route audio anywhere on the network. Think of it like a massive matrix.
So you aren't hardwiring input A to speaker B anymore.
Exactly. You're telling the software to send this microphone feed to these 5 IP addresses. It makes the audio fully addressable.
But that implies the speaker has to be smart enough to decode and process that signal right.
Right.
It's not just a magnet and a paper cone.
Right. And this is where the brains on board concept comes in. The WM-6D has a built-in DSP digital signal processing.
Oh, so because it's an active speaker with its own amplifier, you can tune the audio at the speaker level.
Yes, it supports 2-channel mixing.
Why is that better than doing it at the mixing board, though?
Because rooms are weird. You might have one speaker in a corner that traps bass.
And another near a glass wall that sounds teeny?
Exactly. With onboard DSP, you can apply parametric EQ high-pass or low-pass filters, or input compression and output limiting to just that specific unit.
You're fixing the room physics digitally.
You got it.
Speaking of fixing things, I saw a feature in the notes called the Find Me tone. That sounded like a gimmick at first, but I have a feeling there's a war story behind it.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine you've installed 200 of these in a hotel. On your screen, you see speaker 142 is offline or acting up.
Which one is it?
Right. Without this feature, you're walking around with a ladder checking serial numbers.
Brutal.
But with Find Me, you hit a button in the software, the speaker emits a specific tone, and you walk right to it. It sounds minor, but for a system integrator, that saves hours.
Let's pivot to the hardware itself really quickly. We've established it's a computer, but does it actually function as a decent speaker?
The physics are solid. It's a two-way bass reflex system.
Okay.
You've got a 165 millimeter or 6.5-inch polypropylene cone woofer.
And a 25mm soft dome tweeter?
Right, which is a 1-inch tweeter. It's designed to fill commercial spaces like lobbies, conference rooms, educational halls.
And the installation specs mention VESA mounts.
Which brings us right back to the IT convergence. It has standard 75mm VESA threading.
Literally like a computer monitor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't need niche audio brackets. You can use the same mounts you use for your displays.
It also has a specific easy mount bracket for corners, right?
Yes, which is often dead space in architecture. And since we were talking commercial indoor use, it complies with UL 1480A and uses V0 flame retardant materials.
So to recap for everyone, we have a device that eliminates the heavy amplifier rack, runs on a single network, cable tunes itself with internal software, and mounts like a PC monitor.
That's the summary. It's a high-end commercial solution designed for the system integrator who wants to control audio via API and automation systems.
Not a screwdriver and a soldering iron.
Exactly.
It's impressive. But it does leave me with a lingering thought. If our audio devices are now fully networked nodes, reachable via IP,
You're thinking about security.
I am. We aren't just managing sound anymore, we're managing vulnerability. If a hacker gets into your printer, it's annoying.
But if they get into your PA system during a major event,
That's an entirely different ballgame. How will this change the way we secure public spaces? Something for you to mull over next time you see a speaker on the wall. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.